Greetings and welcome to episode 225 of the Words About Games cast, a weekly video game podcast for words about games. I've got like a crumb or something on my t-shirt. It's unfortunate. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by the glorious one, FTF, hashtag fudge that fudge, Mr. Taffet Mooney. How you doing?
Hey.
Hey, the fudge. Got a jukebox. Hey.
What's the song? Monday, Tuesdays, happy days. Da, 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 da.
Hey.
Oh, crazy man.
We are.
How's everybody? Howdy.
They can't talk back.
I know they can't.
Oh, they can. They and
Just get them
sometimes
all
do.
off, so
And
it's all right.
it's a thing. I don't. Yeah, they're not nice sometimes. It's fine. It's fine. I'm tough.
We have to be.
Hey. I don't really have anything to say. Normally we waffle on for like 5-10 minutes before we actually jump in, and I go, but this isn't such and such. This is a video game podcast. And I make a joke about it. But right now, all I can think is, I've got the tiny, like, I made the mistake of wearing this t-shirt while I was eating food. While I was eating my Sunday lunch, and there's just a little bit of dry gravy right in the middle of my t-shirt, and it's right there, and it's just like, why didn't I change my t-shirt? I usually change my t-shirt for a podcast, but I didn't, and I just realized as we started recording, like yeah, I obviously lost some gravy, and I'm mad at myself because one, I don't like wasting gravy. Gravy's amazing. And two, and two, I feel like that's all I'm going to be staring at for the entire podcast.
When you've got to be reading all of these articles.
I'll be reading and I'll just lose it as you just see my head just suddenly go.
Gravy.
Gravy. This isn't a food podcast, Mooney. This is the Words About Games cast, where every single week we sit down and discuss what's going on in games, the games industry, and gaming culture. In this week's episode, we discuss Microsoft's acquisition of ZeniMax, owners of Bethesda Softworks, a huge spike in Xbox Game Pass subscribers, those two things aren't related, and Amazon's newly announced upcoming streaming service, and more. Then, we'll go over all the new game announcements from the past week. We'll give you a content drop where we recommend some articles you should read and some videos you should watch. We'll tell you what games are coming out over the next 7 days before playing Open Critic Head to Head, where we try to guess the Open Critic average of one upcoming game. And as always, we'll end the show with a post-show discussion to chat about whatever's on our mind. I was looking at the gravy again. God damn it. It's right there. It's right there. It's right next to the. It's right next to the. It's backwards on my monitor.
Do you want to take a time out and quickly change and then edit it?
We'll see how I go. Can you imagine? Beep. I'm just sitting in a different top. Like, hi.
Hi. I had that gravy stain was annoying me. I had to change.
So annoying. There are timestamps in the description below the video on YouTube, so you can watch this podcast however you please. You can watch the full thing. You can watch little bits and pieces. You can skip to specific parts of the podcast. You can watch the whole thing backwards. We don't mind. We're just happy that you're here. So that's a record. That's going to be a record for time taken to get to the intro for us. And I want to recognize that. I want to recognize that by saying, after 3 sets of Joy-Cons have all drifted on me, I finally did the smart thing and bought a Pro Controller, which is arriving tomorrow. I was like, I'm fucking sick of this shit.
I'm tempted, like, I won't lie, I've been tempted, but I'm just like, I've been really happy with my hand, well, playing it as a handheld right now, so I'm just like, I don't need it.
Yeah, the last time I had to buy some new ones was just when Animal Crossing had come out, and I was going to get a Pro Controller then, but then Animal Crossing came out, and I was like, really enjoying playing it in handheld mode. And then I was like, I'll just buy some more Joy-Cons. These will last. They'll last, and they didn't last. And I'm like, fuck you, Nintendo, with your stupid fucking Joy-Cons. I'm buying a Pro Controller, and if that starts drifting, Nintendo's going to get it.
They're going to get it.
They're going to get it. Let's jump into the news, though. I rewarded myself with the speediness of which we got to the intro by then deciding to go on a tangent immediately. I rewarded myself with an immediate tangent. But let's talk about the big news, because we probably have a lot to say about this, I think. Microsoft acquires Bethesda Softworks in $7.5 billion deal. This is by Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon, who writes, Microsoft has acquired ZeniMax Media and publisher Bethesda Softworks, the company announced Monday. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, published a letter on Xbox Wire welcoming the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, and Quake franchises, as well as Starfield and more, to Microsoft. Quote, Bethesda games have always had a special place on Xbox and in the hearts of millions of gamers around the world. Our teams have a close and storied history working together, from the amazing first Doom and its id Tech engine, innovating games on PCs, to Bethesda bringing their first console game to the original Xbox, the groundbreaking The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. Over the years, I've had many deep conversations with the creative leaders at Bethesda on the future of gaming, and we've long shared similar visions for the opportunities for creators and their games to reach more players in more ways. Just as they took the bold first steps to bring the Elder Scrolls franchise to the original Xbox, Bethesda were early supporters of Xbox Game Pass, bringing their games to new audiences across devices, and have been actively investing in new gaming technology like cloud streaming of games. We will be adding Bethesda's iconic franchises to Xbox Game Pass for console and PC. One of the things that has me most excited is seeing the roadmap with Bethesda's future games, some announced and many unannounced, to Xbox console and PC, including Starfield, the highly anticipated new space epic currently in development by Bethesda Game Studios. End quote. Spencer said the acquisition is a landmark step for Microsoft. Might be an understatement. In a news release, Microsoft said it now has 23 creative studio teams, up from 15, making games for Xbox and PC. Microsoft will add Bethesda's games to Xbox Game Pass for PC and console too. Microsoft also intends to add future Bethesda games to Game Pass the same day they launch on Xbox or PC, specifically calling out Starfield. They've quoted the end of the thing, and in this next paragraph, which I just read, like I copy pasted
Pete Hines.
That's weird. That's just weird. Pete Hines, Senior Vice President of Global Marketing and Communications at Bethesda, posted a separate letter on the developer's website outlining why Microsoft is a good fit for the company. Hines said the company has, quote, a long history of working with Microsoft, end quote, and will continue to make games as it always has. Quote, but the key point is we're still Bethesda. Oh no. We're still working on the same games we were yesterday. Made by the same studios. I'm joking. I'm sorry.
The unknown part was not a part of the article.
Made by the same studios we've worked with for years, and those games will be published by us. End quote. Hines added that the Microsoft acquisition will allow Bethesda more resources to innovate and to grow. End story. Moody? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Well, this was something indeed. Like, this happened on Monday.
Yeah, I just want to shout out one thing. This is the second time in 3 weeks Microsoft has done this, where they've put something out just before our podcast is due to go live, rendering our podcast utterly fucking almost worthless because we just missed the big news story that everybody's talking about by a matter of hours.
So who knows what's going to happen then this Monday coming?
Microsoft buys Nintendo. What the fuck?
Microsoft buys Pokemon.
The Pokemon company just like Jesus fuck.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of layers to this story. There really is. I didn't even find out about this until late into my break on college. Like I saw you message me in the Discord and our Facebook chat, and I was just like, "I'll have a look at it on my break." And I looked at it, and I went, "What?"
Like, I love it. Amy's
What?
messaged you. Hey, it can't be that big a deal. It'll be fine. I'll look at it later. Meanwhile, I'm just like, ah, ah.
This is absolutely bonkers. They've basically just gobbled up an E3 showing. They've decided we want an extra hour for E3, so we're going to take an extra hour.
I'm sure that was the number one thing.
Oh Jesus, this is yeah. This basically is filled in a thing that a lot of people have argued against, so that they've had no games, they have no IPs and everything like that.
They fucking do
This
now.
is basically just said, yeah, they've just literally done just sliced that in half, basically just said, yeah, oh, what are you saying we don't have? Oh yeah, we do have that now, yeah, and everything. This is incredible to think that this has happened, obviously, but this is what Microsoft has, the Xbox has. They are backed by Microsoft. Microsoft, a $1 trillion company, they can do this, and it's insane. It really is. It's like just going off the things what you said right at the beginning. Where is it? Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, the Quake franchise, Starfield, the new IP that's coming. They are actively developing 2 games that are timed exclusive for the PlayStation 5, which I think is funny at the same time.
Yeah. Did you see Imran Khan's thing? Like, all right, I want to have a more structured discussion, but did you see Imran Khan's thing where it was like PlayStation were actively like trying to get the timed exclusivity on Starfield, and it's just like Microsoft just went, "It's ours now,
basically,
bitch."
Yeah.
So where do you want to start? Because like you said, there's a lot of layers to this, and we got a lot.
There's a lot of layers to this because there's multiple things here. Because like there's one, I think the main thing for me, I think, is what overall what we both think is, what I'm seeing on the internet. Like a lot of people are 50-50 on what does this mean. And the main thing is it what are Microsoft going to do with Bethesda here? Are they going to make all their games exclusive to the console and to Game Pass and to go on the PC only, or are they going to go on the PlayStation as well? A lot of people, I see both great arguments for why both of them are like
doable.
They should do both. They should double dip, or they should make them exclusive for the Xbox.
Well, they got to think they paid $7.5 billion for this, so they spent more money on Bethesda, than Disney spent on Star Wars.
They spent more on Bethesda than Disney did with Pixar.
Yeah,
Pixar was a $6 billion, I think, if I remember rightly.
I think the answer, is like to exclusivity. So we'll start there. Like, I think the answer to that question is way more complicated than they will do this or they will not do this. Like, somebody, I don't remember, a Microsoft executive, like it was a whirlwind, said that it would be like exclusivity of Bethesda games would be on a case by case basis, and there'll be somebody at there'll be not one person, there'll be people at Microsoft who will sit in a room with every game like Bethesda makes, right? Like apart from the ones like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, or PS5 timed exclusives, and they're still going to be PS5 timed exclusives because that's just the deal that was in place.
Yeah.
There'll be somebody like looking at, say, Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield. Let's say Starfield because that's the next one.
That's the next Bethesda Studios. That's the
next Bethesda Game Studios game. There'll be somebody looking at Starfield, and they'll be doing a cost-benefit analysis, and I'll be like, okay, this is how much money we could make if we put this game everywhere. So on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how much money we could make, or this is how many Game Pass subscribers and how much money we could make if we kept it on just Xbox and PC.
Yeah. And also add in the extra consoles they could sell for this as
Yeah,
well.
and like we could
Yeah.
sell this, many consoles just on the back of this,
Hmm.
and it'll cost X amount of goodwill. Like I know goodwill is a bit more immutable than just being like a resource, but like it'll cost us some goodwill and X and Y and Z, and they'll be like I said, there'll be spreadsheets and charts and stuff. Like, and I think they'll do that with every Bethesda game going forward, like published. So like whatever Arcane works on, whatever next Wolfenstein is, whatever Tango Gameworks does after Ghostwire Tokyo, like stuff like that.
I think everyone's hoping maybe an Evil Within 3.
I think if if an Evil Within 3 happens, I think that will be an exclusive game.
Yeah,
Just purely
I think
because
yeah.
it doesn't sell that well.
Yeah.
But
I
it'll
think
go
the
in Game
main
Pass.
ones that'll probably be all is probably just the Bethesda studios themselves. That's Fallout, Starfield, and Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls franchise. I can see them probably those three probably the only ones that are going to be for everybody, and everything else might literally just be console exclusive or PC.
It'll
Game Pass
be on
exclusive,
PC.
yeah.
Like for the purposes of this discussion, because of the way Xbox operates, all of these games we know are going to PC.
Yeah.
So when we talk
Yeah,
exclusive, we're just talking about the consoles.
Yeah.
Like it depends. Like they do that. Xbox do that now with their other Xbox published titles. We just saw Ori and the Will of the Wisps come out on the Nintendo Switch. Last week I think it was. So like they already do this with the like taking it on a game by game basis as to like do we want to put this out on on a competitor's console, because as much as the console was kind of dead at this point, they are all still competitors in the same industry. Like I don't know, man. Like I can see why people would say, look, it'll be bullshit if the next Elder Scrolls is just on Xbox and PC, and not on PS4. But Elder Scrolls is primarily like its biggest fan base is on PC, right?
Yeah.
So like they're not gonna care. Like all of those people who are playing on PC, it's still gonna come to PC. Fuck, they could even get it for the price of Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like, to play it. Like Microsoft dropped so much money on this studio. Like, if that cost benefit analysis comes out and says, look, we can probably make a shit ton more money by keeping the next Elder Scrolls as a console exclusive, then they'll do it.
Agreed.
100% they'll do it, because that's what the name of the game, make money. Like
Or Sony puckers up some money, say, please,
imagine that
please,
situation.
can we have this type of deal could they want to break down boundaries and make the things a lot more easier for gamers out there. They've said that. That's what was in the quote itself. And I feel like this could literally, if it all depends how Sony is taking this, and if Sony's taking it as saying shit type of thing, and they probably will be a little bit, because they were, like it says, they were actively trying to get Starfield as an exclusive for a time. They obviously, for me, Poisonous hinted that they probably knew that Microsoft were doing this deal, and they were trying to get this deal in as fast as they can, but obviously couldn't negotiate.
I doubt like Bethesda would have in good faith signed a timed exclusivity deal for Starfield, knowing that this deal
knowing that they were about to be bought by Microsoft. Yeah,
like deals like this take a long time, but so do deals like the deal that they got for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo.
But those games compared to Starfield,
like Starfield's going to be a big deal. Like once it properly starts getting revealed and it's properly going to be coming, like it's going to be a huge, massive.
Which will probably
deal.
be next year, not coming out next year. I mean, they're probably going to reveal it next year. I think.
We'll see. I don't know if they'll take the Fallout 4 approach and just reveal it like a few months before it comes out. Because it worked.
I think everyone would prefer that. I think everyone would prefer that.
I think that's what Bethesda would do. I don't know if that's what Microsoft would do. I feel like Starfield is going to be front and center next whatever they do for E3. Because they'll be like, fuck, we have this game. This is our game. Like, even if this game comes to PS4, this is still our game. And we can just be like, cool, look, see, do you want to see this? Cool, boom, here it is. Like, New Dishonored? Boom, here it is. That's our game, too. Prey 2, bam, that's ours too. Fuck yeah. Like, Wolfenstein 3, boom, that's our game as well. We did
IP, they've just bought.
third parties. We don't even need them anymore.
Yeah. Like, I know, like, I said this reference on my podcast and everything, and it did, but then I still hold further to it, that Microsoft have literally just done a Disney that they bought the IP. They want IP for their Game Pass. Just like Disney when they bought Star Wars and Fox and everything like that, it was for Disney Plus. This is all for Game Pass. Yes, could certain franchises, like I say, I think it's probably more the Bethesda Studio ones that could go out to maybe PlayStation as well, just because they're going to be that big, and I think they want to recoup on as much as they probably could. But at the same time, they could.
Personally,
I think that I would say overall, majority out, yes. I think there's a chance for those three though that they could be, but I would not be surprised if we hear no, that's all going to be exclusive.
I think it could, it could be. Like, there's a chance that they could just go ahead and just say anything that's an existing franchise. I think, like, that's been out on PlayStation before. They could turn around and say, look, it's like Wolfenstein, for example, or Doom. Like, as well as just like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, they could just say, that's not going to be exclusive. We're not going to touch that. But anything new that they make, or anything or anything that wouldn't have been made if we didn't own we didn't own these developers. So, like, say, like, The Evil Within 3 gets commissioned, but it never would have been made otherwise. Like, they'll keep that exclusive. But I think they'll keep Starfield. I think Starfield's going to be an exclusive. I think it's going to be an Xbox and PC game. I don't think that game's coming to PlayStation.
Probably. I think there's pros on both of them.
Like, it's fine.
I think the main argument, which I agree with, is that you don't spend $7.5 billion on this to put it out everywhere else.
To put it out on PlayStation. You don't spend $7.5 billion to publish your games on PlayStation 5. You don't.
Yeah.
That's more money than they spent on Star Wars. Like, it's unfathomable, the amount of money that Microsoft just
The only way it happens is if Sony put us up some money.
And
which I don't think they would be willing to do.
I've seen a lot of people complain, potentially, like, at this potential feature of, like, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Starfield, everything else being exclusive to Xbox, and it's like, did we not just live through a PlayStation showcase where Final Fantasy 16 was going to be exclusive to PS5? Like, this is just what these companies do.
Yeah, this is the thing. That's the thing where it baffles me why people get annoyed at.
It was okay for Sony to lock Spider-Man up on PS4 or Street Fighter 5 on PS4, but it's not okay for Xbox to buy their own studios and then keep the games that they make for themselves. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And if you don't like it, that's just how capitalism works. Overthrow capitalism, and then we'll talk.
If you do that, you'll probably bankrupt the world.
Yeah, but it won't matter because we'll overthrow capitalism.
It's
it's fine.
Oh, fudge.
Trying to incite a revolution here, Moody.
So the second question I think is I got a lot of people, a lot of podcasts that I've listened to and everything like that. Everyone's literally like, Sony are going to go out and buy someone. And probably I'm just like, that would be the worst idea to do for me, because I'm just like, that's saying you are reactionary. And that's the worst thing to show.
Why do
you
they
don't want to be reactionary at all.
Like, we have the benefit of being like the last people in video games to talk about this.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it happened like a week before the podcast comes out. Like, why would PlayStation even feel the need? Like, don't get me wrong, there was a meme. By the way, the memes have been 10 out of 10.
No, I agree.
Around this, it's been amazing. There was a good one though that I think actually summed up something that probably happened at PlayStation, which was, Among Us, right? Like, that game that just exploded in popularity the last few weeks. And it's like emergency meeting. Like, and that was like, someone said, PlayStation offices right now, and it's like the thing hitting the button going, emergency meeting. Like, that probably happened. Like, there was probably an emergency meeting at PlayStation.
I agree.
For sure. But, like, like let's do it right. Let's work through this, right? Sony Interactive Worldwide Studios. Let's see if this is the list, right? So their studio. So now, Xbox Game Studios consists of 343 Industries, World's Edge, which are the developers of Age of Empires, the Coalition, Compulsion Games, Double Fine, the Initiative, In Exile Entertainment. By the way, Wasteland 3 is amazing. I'll talk about that at the end. Mojang Studios, Ninja Theory, Obsidian, Playground Games, Rare, Turn 10 Studios, Undead Labs, Bethesda Softworks, id Software, Arcane Studios, Tango Gameworks, Machine Games, Alpha Dog Games, and Roadhouse Studios. That's a fucking amazing list of developers.
That is. It's fantastic. The thing is, what I love so much about it is that they're covered. They're completely covered. They pose like all the other games, all the other studios who have been bought up by Microsoft have all said, it's literally freedom right now for us. They've literally just said, what's your idea? Okay, show us it, blah, blah, blah. And then, oh, boom, great, type of thing. They've basically been given a whiteboard and literally just create whatever the hell you want. And that's fantastic.
Like, you wouldn't buy Obsidian and not want them to make RPGs, right?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Whatever RPG they want to make, just let them make it, because they're the fucking RPG guys. Mm-hmm. Like, so just let them get on with it. The other meme I really liked was the Bethesda Obsidian.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
That was a good one.
I think it's funny
After
that
New Vegas.
I think it's funny that everyone thinks of New Vegas too.
No, it's not.
I don't think it is either.
No, but on the flip side of what I've just said, Sony Interactive Worldwide, Sony Interactive, what the hell are they even called nowadays? Because they keep changing the name. Sony Interactive Worldwide Studios, Entertainment Worldwide Studios. Ben Studio, Guerrilla Games, Insomniac Games, Japan Studio, London Studio, Media Molecule, Naughty Dog, Pixel Opus, Polyphony Digital, San Diego, San Mateo, Santa Monica, and Sucker Punch. Like, why do PlayStation need to buy? That list, it's Insomniac. Why do PlayStation need to buy someone? Like,
they don't.
All Microsoft did by buying Bethesda was catch up. to where PlayStation already are.
They bought an entire publisher to at least to be on par now with developer level.
Yeah,
but still, when it comes to the game, like say, Bethesda,
and that's nothing against like In Exile and Compulsion and Ninja Theory and all the other studios that are already there.
We expect them to get there.
Yeah,
that's what especially Ninja Theory. We're all looking forward to Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2 and everything like that. But yeah, they've spent $7.5 billion to catch up to the level of impressiveness when it comes to the games, basically, and hype for the games. Like PlayStation is still the market share. I think people have got to all remember this. And even though they don't have the trillions compared to what Microsoft have, I'll keep on saying Disney and everything like that.
Disney,
but I don't know why. Disney. But it's still like Sony is still they're in a really strong position and everything.
Yeah.
But if anyone complain, but this is the thing now. I'm just going to say right now, we know it's not going to happen. But if you're going to start complaining about any exclusivity, you're going to have to basically just start shutting up now. Because if Microsoft do put all the games, which I do truly believe they probably will, I think the percentage is really high. I think there's a chance, like say, for the Bethesda Studio ones, but other than that, they're all going to be exclusive. We all know they are, overall.
Yeah.
PlayStation are probably going to try and buy some exclusivity deals. And I think there's a chance of that. Like we know there's a rumor of the health. We know there's a rumor of. Yeah, we know that.
We just watched a showcase 2 weeks ago, where it was like they already have done that. Like we just saw it in this showcase. They've already bought third-party exclusives, or like timed exclusives, or whatever. Yeah. Like, so why is this an issue when Microsoft does it, but it's not an issue when Xbox does it?
Well, the Microsoft folks or the Microsoft podcasters all a bitch and moan that PlayStation don't advertise that it's a timed exclusive, and my argument's they don't have to.
They don't have to. Like, why would you? If you dropped tens of millions or hundreds of millions on getting Final Fantasy 16 as a timed
on your console,
like either a full exclusive or a timed exclusive, and it's a timed exclusive, why the fuck would you tell anyone it's a timed exclusive?
Yeah, they want them to come and buy their console so they can play that game.
Yeah,
they don't need to tell you.
That's why they spent that money.
Yeah. They don't need to tell you. That's the thing when I hear it from a lot of Xbox podcasts out there. I'm just like, they don't need to at all.
No.
Won't lie, it's a breath of fresh air when I hear Microsoft to come out and say console exclusive, first on console,
Don't get
first
me
on
wrong.
Xbox or whatever.
It annoys the
That's their
shit out of
decision.
me. Like with like Final Fantasy 16 not knowing whether it's timed or console or when or what or how. Like it annoys the piss out of me. Like that when they don't do it, but they don't have to,
Yeah.
and I'm fully aware of that fact.
Yeah. It doesn't annoy me though. For me, it's just them. They are giving you they're giving you a reason to buy their console
Yeah.
for them, and that's how it is.
Well, this is the other
yeah.
this is the other part of the equation as well, Moody, where it's like if Bethesda games, if you want to play these Bethesda games, and you are worried they're going to go Xbox exclusive, or even they do go Xbox exclusive, like no one's forcing you to buy one box over the other box.
Mm-hmm.
If Fallout and Elder Scrolls and Starfield and everything else means more to you than The Last of Us and Spider-Man and God of War, then buy an Xbox.
Exactly.
This is made like the other end of the wedge on this one is Game Pass. Like, which we'll obviously be talking about Game Pass in a moment, but I want to talk about it specifically relating to this, where it's just like, again, like now, even if these games come out on PlayStation 5, Xbox can still put out the message of, cool, you can buy this game for $70 or £70 on your PlayStation 5, or if you have an Xbox or a PC, you could just get it on Game Pass for $10.99 a month, whatever it is. And that's great because again, and I've beaten the drum so hard I think I put a hole in it this year of just being like the moves Xbox are making to make gaming as affordable as they possibly can are fantastic. And now it's like I don't have to worry about finding the money to buy Starfield or the Elder Scrolls or the next Doom or the next Dishonored or whatever the fuck else like comes out of Bethesda. Like it's in Game Pass, man. Like I can just download it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it stabilizes Bethesda. Hopefully, they're no longer gonna do any silly stuff. Hopefully, and they're just good, and then they can just concentrate on creating great games.
Yeah,
and that's all that matters, ladies and gentlemen. That's
like they
all
don't have
matters.
to worry about doing anything else now. It's like just make games.
Yeah. For the next Fallout, that's going to be. Hope that's not going to be for like probably 10 years. We know that.
Yeah.
But when you see that game, you know you're going to get that for about a tenner, just on Game Pass.
Yeah. What's to stop? Because we've seen this happen. Like, how many of the developers that Microsoft have bought in the past few years, right? And how many of those developers have gone from making like one game at a time to making like 2 or 3 games at a time? Like we've seen, almost every developer that's been purchased has split their teams down. Like Ninja Theory made Bleeding Edge, and they're also making Hellblade. Like we know Obsidian have multiple teams working on stuff. You know, like Playground Games has opened a second studio. Like, who's to say that Bethesda Game Studios, like, don't just start 3 studios to make Starfield and Elder Scrolls and Fallout all at the same time. Like, because now they can. Because now they're backed by Microsoft money. And Microsoft aren't going to say no to that. Like, if Todd Howard or Pete Hines walks into Phil Spencer's office and just goes, yo, if you give us this much money, we can give you a new Fallout and a new Elder Scrolls and Starfield all within the next 5 years.
And what that does creates thousands of jobs.
Yeah. And then it's like, cool, oh my god, that's amazing. And then like Starfield comes out in 22, and then Elder Scrolls comes out in 23, and like Fallout comes out in 24. And then it's like, all right, cool. And then what happens in 2025? Well, Starfield 2 comes out, or whatever that team decides to make. All right, then what happens in 26? Elder Scrolls 7 comes out. You know what I mean? Like, they could just do that if they wanted to.
They could. They really, really could. It's going to be fascinating. I'm excited to see what's going to happen and anything like that.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot more potential upsides to downsides. Like, the only downside is people on PlayStation might not be able to play some of these games, and I feel for them.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it happens. Like
Microsoft can't play any of the PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah.
We know why.
Like,
so
if I could, like, if I didn't have a PlayStation 4, I would have been gutted about missing out on God of War and The Last of Us Part 2 and etc. Persona 5, etc. And
exactly.
yeah, I'd look across and see Final Fantasy 16 and be like, well, that sucks. But also, I now have all these games. Xbox just turned themselves into an RPG freaking machine.
The Western one, anyway.
Yeah.
The Western one, yeah.
Like,
so Microsoft are the Western ones, PlayStation are the
JRPGs. Yeah, like they've got the guys who make Fallout, the guys who make Skyrim, the guys who make Elder Scrolls, and they've also got Obsidian Entertainment, In Exile Entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, if they buy Larian Studios, like, they're just gonna be like, oh no, like, you know how we used to be the console, like, for shooters? Yeah, that's not true, and that's not a thing anymore. Now we make RPGs. They're the guys who make Divinity. And the original Sins of the Divinity games are fucking amazing. Let's move on, because we spent a gigantic amount of time talking about Bethesda.
Which
we knew we would. Like, I put a bunch of stories in here, but we're not going to get into most of them, so... That's why I kept the intro very brief, because I was like, I don't know how much of this we're actually going to talk about. So the second story is... I'm just going to read the headline. Xbox Game Pass subscribers jumped 50% to 15 million in less than 6 months. So on the back of the full statement of Xbox buying Bethesda, they also revealed that there are 15 million Game Pass subscribers, and the last time they talked about Game Pass subscription numbers was in April, when it was 10 million. So between April and September, 5 million more people subscribe to Game Pass.
And I can see that number's going to go a little bit up, a little more.
Go up a little bit.
Yeah. Especially when a certain games start hopping onto it.
I mean, yeah, we've got one already in the announcements, but Doom Eternal's coming like this week.
Yeah,
Doom Eternal's
coming
this week.
I might even give that a try, but I might try it on my brand new PC.
Brand new PC, Xbox Game Pass for PC, baby. Let's go! It's not coming out on PC for until later in the year.
Yeah, again, this is still showing that this is the best value in gaming right now, and with what they've just done, what we've just talked about, it's just going to make it even more great value. So
yeah,
fantastic! Congratulations to Microsoft.
Amazing.
It's a long-term drive for this. They know they're not going to start making any money off this really for a long time.
No, especially considering they just dropped $7.5 billion.
Oh yeah.
But if they get the numbers up...
I see the price going up soon.
I see the price going up. I do. Yeah. I was going to say, I see the price going up. I don't see it going up by much. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll put it up too much. At most, I think they'll put it up by $5. And that's for Ultimate.
It'll go $14.99.
Because Ultimate will get you everything on PC, everything on console, plus xCloud. And we didn't even talk about it, EA Play. EA Play is in Game Pass. Like, so it's not a case of all the new EA games coming out on Game Pass, but like pretty much everything that's come out from 2019 backwards, everything EA has published, including backwards compatibility titles, are also now in Game Pass.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Like, I think people praise Game Pass, like, especially like podcasters, journalists, YouTube people will praise Game Pass, but without really knowing what a deal like Game Pass means. Like I said this to someone in a private conversation, like about this topic, and saying that I look at how some people talk about Game Pass and what Xbox is doing with the Xbox Series S only costing £249, which is comically low for a next generation console, and like the value proposition of something like Game Pass or XCloud. And like I think when I'm looking at certain people talking about this stuff in a certain way, like you've never been poor, and it really shows because like you've never had to worry about how you're going to get a hold of this next big game, whereas I worry all the time about where I'm going to get this game from. So when I'm sitting here like talking about, like, I don't have to worry about getting the next big Bethesda game. Like that would have been a genuine sort of, oh shit, like Final Fantasy VII Remake earlier this year. We talked about it on this podcast. Like the rental company screwed up. I didn't get it sent to me. I couldn't afford £60 for like the remake of my favorite game of all time. I had to wait to play it because I couldn't afford it. Like, I've been in that situation. I'm constantly in that situation. And, like, I'm not looking for pity when I say it. What I'm just pointing out is, like, this is such a big deal. Like, for people who... Because we talk about people who only play a few games every year. There are some people who can only afford to play a few games every year. And, like, if you just, like, replaced, like... what, 2 game, like the cost of 2 games, I think it is, like 2 brand new release titles, I think, is the cost of, say, Game Pass Ultimate for an entire year, and you get access to hundreds. Like, it's just a no-brainer.
Like, basically, it's Blockbuster. That's how it was for a lot of people. Like, for Blockbuster to play games, and I think you rented the game for a weekend, and take it back on the Sunday or the Monday morning or whatever. And that's how it was. And yeah, this is. I think when it comes to those podcasts and journalists, like those are people who are very lucky that they get games codes sent to them, especially the big games and AAA games and everything like that.
And I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like I am fortunate enough. Like the game I've been playing all last week, and I reviewed it last month, beginning of the month. Was Wasteland 3, and it's a full price game. I was fortunate enough to get a code sent to me for it. Like I was fortunate enough that I got a copy of that game, which is great because I love it. But it bums me out a bit. Where it's just like I always try to make sure I talk about when I'm talking about games to be mindful of the fact that I get a lot of games for free, for that very reason, because I've been in that situation. I know for a fact this YouTube channel might not even happen if I didn't have that combination of being able to rent games and being able to get free games. So, like, Game Pass is just, like why... I wish we've had this the entire time I was gaming. Like...
Yeah.
Like, it's why, like, I'll go on Moody's podcast, like, intermittently. The Glorious Movie Show on all podcast services. You should check it out. I was just on it. And it's like, have I watched many new movies? No, because the cinema costs a lot of money. But if it's on Netflix, it's on my watch list at the very least, because Netflix is affordable in a way the cinema isn't. Game Pass is affordable in a way that buying new games isn't.
Yeah, that's true. That's complete facts there. And like my podcast is a pain in the ass right now because I can't really review any games.
Yeah, you've got no new movies coming out, which is it's good for me.
The only time I can review a movie is if it goes on the the only time I can do is if it goes on a subscription service. And everything for the most part, it's like what Microsoft are doing with what they've done for Game Pass and what they are doing with all the IP and everything. It's amazing. Yeah,
it's why I had such an adverse reaction to games now costing £70. Like, I don't get these big £70 AAA games for free very often. The two companies that used to send me them were EA and Ubisoft, and neither of them talk to me anymore for very obvious reasons.
I don't know what that reason could be.
I don't know what could have happened. It's fine because I don't want to talk to them either. But yeah, yeah, I just wanted to speak my piece on Game Pass and affordability because it's a big thing, big deal to me for sure.
Yeah, it's a fabulous thing. It's a great principle
Like,
for.
just to hammer the home the point with one more
My words have
story.
vanished there. My brain's
With
just like,
my
words. What are
my
they?
friend, my friend put out a tweet on Twitter. I don't know why I had to clarify that. Earlier in the like over the weekend, which was just like, so what games did everyone pre-order with their consoles? And everybody was given this big list of games, like I pre-ordered this, I pre-ordered that, and I was just like, none. Like I'm spending 450 quid on a console. I can't afford 70 quid for a game.
All
like,
hail Boomerang Games. Thank you very much. This is not sponsored, but
I am
check them
relying
out.
on Boomerang Games for
Yeah.
and hopefully Bugsnax is a launch PS Plus game, like Resogun was for the PS4.
I have this feeling it's going to be.
Yeah, but like, no, I can't afford 70 quid for a game. I'm spending so much money on this console. Like, whereas if I'm buying an Xbox for the same price, like if I was getting the Series X, like for £450, like I would just need Game Pass,
That's true.
and I would have like 200 games. Like, I don't know. Call me crazy, but that's just how it is for a lot of people. Moving on, Amazon announces new cloud gaming service called Luna. Weirdly enough, one of my best friends and one of my favorite streamers is called Luna. So this is weird. This is from Andrew Webster over at The Verge, who writes, at its 2020 hardware event last week, Amazon announced a cloud gaming platform called Luna. The news isn't too surprising. The service has been rumoured since last year, previously codenamed Tempo, while an Amazon-made game controller leaked out just ahead of the event. It's not clear when Luna will launch widely, but it will initially be available on PC, Mac, Fire TV, and iPhone and iPad via web apps. I remember reading this story and being like, iPhone and iPad, really? Oh, via a web app, because, yeah, I was going to say, how did they get away with it? With an Android version planned for after launch. Amazon says that interested users in the US can request early access to the service starting today. Last week. There's no word on international availability. The service will be available for an introductory price of $5.99 a month during its early access phase, which gives subscribers the ability to play Luna Plus channel games across 2 devices simultaneously and offers 4K/60 frames per second resolutions for select titles. Naturally, it will be powered by AWS, Amazon's ubiquitous web platform. Amazon says more than 100 games will be available via the Luna Plus channel, and launch titles include Resident Evil 7, Control, Panzer Dragoon, A Plague Tale's Innocence, The Surge 2, Yooka-Laylee, Grid, Abzu, and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Amazon says more titles will be added over time. Excuse me. Just a cough there, coughing fit there. The company is also partnered with Ubisoft for a specific gaming channel. Here's how Amazon describes it. Players who subscribe to this channel will have access to their favourite Ubisoft titles in up to 4K resolution, mobile gameplay, and access to new titles when the channel launches, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, and Immortals Phoenix Rising, the same day they release. This is the first of multiple Luna game channels in development where customers can play games from their favourite publishers and genres. Luna will also feature Twitch integration. Inside the Luna experience, players will see Twitch streams for games in the service, and from Twitch they'll be able to instantly start playing Luna games, Amazon says. Games can be played with either a mouse and keyboard or a Bluetooth controller. To go along with this, Amazon also announced its own Alexa-enabled Luna controller, which will cost $49.99 during the early access period. This is what Stadia should have been.
Hell yeah.
That was the first thing that came to my mind when I read through this story. Like, this is what Stadia should have been. It's affordable. Its subscription comes with a library of games. And you don't need to buy extra games on top of it. However, what it sounds like you can do, and it sounds like Ubisoft is going to be the first company to do this, but others are going to join us. It sounds like they're going to add almost like different packages to it. So, like, you can subscribe to, from what I've read here, you can subscribe to the Ubisoft channel. And then that acts like Game Pass for Ubisoft specifically.
So you play basically.
So you play whatever the fuck it's called. You play
Yeah.
Plus.
This is what I think is going to Microsoft are going to try and do next. I think they're going to try and get Uplay on to Game Pass.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is cool. So like, I imagine there'll be like the library of Amazon games, which will be the Luna channel, which is a pretty decent library of games, to be fair. Like, it's not knockout great, but it's $5.99 a month. Like Resident Evil 7, Control, fantastic games. Plague Tale Innocence is a fantastic game. Brothers is a fantastic game. And then it's like, cool, do you want, let's say EA, do you want the new EA games as they come out? Cool, subscribe to that channel.
Yeah.
Do you want the new fucking, I don't know, Activision game? Do you want Call of Duty? Subscribe to the Activision channel because it's all they make. I believe you have muted yourself, good sir.
I did. I thought I unmuted myself after I yawned.
Sorry,
I think that's what everyone's like moving towards. Aren't they? Like Ubisoft have already announced that they're going to do their own subscription. I think.
Yeah, Uplay Plus is already
EA,
a thing. EA is already a thing.
Yeah, Activision. I'll be surprised if they aren't going to do one soon enough.
Activision, like, the thing about a subscription service model like this is it needs games, and Activision don't release that many games. I'm not digging. That's for once. I'm not digging. I'm not having a go at them. I'm just pointing it out. Like, they release like 2 games a year, like maybe 3. Like, no one's gonna pay a big monthly subscription for like 3 games. For COD and whatever they're remaking. Like, and then maybe a Crash Bandicoot. You know what I mean?
True. I see where you come from with that. But I just think it's Activision.
I mean, it's Activision.
So,
if anyone would try to do that, it would be Activision, 100%.
Yeah, hell yeah. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, this is it's a great little deal. It is a really great little deal here, and Amazon, like I said, they're doing it right. They're doing it better than what Stadia did. That's why I jokingly put in the chat when I shared this that, this is the Stadia killer. Another Stadia killer.
My reply, I think, was 10 out of 10, where I was like, Stadia's most effective killer is itself.
That's the thing about it. You gotta think. Google gotta be thinking, what are they gonna do with this?
Like, we have...
You've got Game Pass that's killing them already, and you've got this, which is a really, really good deal. Yes, it's not Game Pass levels of great deal, but it's a good deal. It's a better than Stadia deal.
It's a better deal than Stadia.
Yeah.
Like,
you gotta think, what is Google doing here?
Like, you've got to be sitting at Google. And hey, I don't know, maybe their numbers are amazing. I got a lot of hate for pointing out that it doesn't work in my area very well. So,
She didn't have 400 megabytes of internet, Amy.
But I would imagine someone at Google's got to sort of be sitting back on, we've messed this up. It was always a weird proposition. We're going to have games, but most of the games that we launch aren't going to be new games. You're going to have to buy all the games instead of subscribing to a service. You can subscribe to the service if you want, and we'll give you, like, a game every month. Like, games with gold. But, yeah, I don't know. It's weird as fuck. I've always thought that, whereas I read how Stadia works, and I don't get it. Like, I mean, I understand how it works. I don't get why they make it work the way it works.
Yeah.
But I read, like, Amazon Luna, and I go, cool, this doesn't look like it's for me. Like, personally. But I read that, and I go, I can see the appeal of that. Straight away. As opposed to, like, Stadia, where I don't see the appeal of Stadia for many people.
Agreed.
Because I'm not gonna spend 60 quid for a game. I'm not gonna spend 60 quid to buy a game, unless it's a multiplayer game. I'm not gonna buy a game for 60 quid where its performance is based on the performance of my internet. Like Cyberpunk, for example. Like, I'm not gonna buy Cyberpunk on Stadia because I could just get it on a console. instead. And if my internet drops out,
True
who
fact.
cares? The game certainly doesn't. Like, I don't know. And maybe it's just because I'm not the target audience. Who knows? But this I can see the
Probably, yeah.
appeal of.
Definitely. They've got great appeal here.
That's a big news story.
Well done,
I'll
Amazon.
skip that. What do we got? Okay. We don't have the
FIFA?
time to give we don't have the time to give that the time of day. So FIFA Pro says he won't buy FIFA points for FIFA 21. Good for you, FIFA Pro. This is from Wesley Inpool over at Eurogamer. He writes, a FIFA Pro has announced... That was weird, some options just came up on my screen there. A FIFA Pro has announced he won't buy any FIFA points during the FIFA 21 season. Tim Latke Schwartman, who currently plays for German club FC Schalke 04's esports team, said he had decided to compete on the professional FIFA circuit this season without spending a penny on FIFA Ultimate Team, which is FUT, and it comes up a lot. FUT is FIFA's most popular game mode and publisher EA's money spinner, pulling in billions in revenue through the sale of FIFA points. FIFA points are used to buy Ultimate Team packs, which contain a random assortment of virtual players. It's this mechanic that makes Ultimate Team a pay-to-win competitive online experience and has sparked a comparison in gambling. FIFA pros use Ultimate Team to qualify for professional tournaments and so must head online to play matches with their Ultimate Team. Because of this, some pros spend thousands of pounds on Ultimate Team as soon as it launches in a bid to obtain the best players as quickly as possible. As part of a 2019 Eurogamer investigation into the pay-to-win nature of FIFA Ultimate Team, Swedish pro FIFA player Simon Zim Nystedt said, quote, FIFA has never been as pay-to-win as it is now. The then Fnatic-backed pro said he'd spent over £3,500 on FIFA 19 in order to get the players he felt he needed to compete. Quote, that's way too much, he said at the time. It shouldn't be like this. You should never have an advantage just for paying. I know for sure there are pros who haven't spent that much, and they still qualify for events, but it's way, way harder. I wanted to make it as easy as possible. End quote. Fast forward to September 2020, and just a few days before FIFA 21 comes out, we have one of the most high-profile FIFA pros in Europe declare they won't spend a penny on the Ultimate Team this year for ethical reasons. Quote, I have a certain responsibility, and I haven't made a video for a long time where I opened packs with FIFA points, Schwartzman said in a video published to his YouTube channel, which has over 200,000 subscribers. That's why I want to stick to this way and to play without FIFA points. Boom. That's mental. I mean, as somebody who doesn't know how FIFA or Ultimate Team really works, other than like sort of know how the loot boxes in the game works, because hey, loot boxes has been a big deal for 3 years now. Which is mental. I think Battlefront was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, wow, like, looking at the competitive side of it and just being like, you don't necessarily get to, like, the highest reaches of, like, tournaments and stuff based on your mechanical skill in the game. Because, like, you need the players, which you get in these packs to compete. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, fair play to them, I guess. Like, I don't know really what to say to this because I'm just like, okay, you've finally got some effort. You finally got some. You feel like you have responsibility now and all like this. Well done, congratulations, well done, blah blah blah. But I'm just like, okay, I don't know. This just doesn't make me go, yay, congratulations, and all like this. It's just like. Nah, it's like it's FIFA, one of the worst games always to come out, yet one of the games that always comes out and makes a ton of money all the time. It sells like crazy because of how powerful the IP is, and how powerful football is around the world, basically. But,
I remember the days when Pro Evolution Soccer was a bigger deal than FIFA.
Yeah,
and then I remember the days when it was neck and neck, and there would be like fighting. And now one's just ubiquitous with football. like video game football, and the other one practically doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Like, it's gone so far that they haven't really needed to advertise FIFA, and they know that.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
didn't talk about it at all when they did that conference thing they did a couple of months ago, and it's just the same thing now. They know they don't need to. They've already got the casual gaming audience in their hand for people to play this, and it's probably going to sell even better because we're in a lockdown right now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. So
I don't know. I find the nature of Ultimate Team strange.
the nature of it is insane. I don't get it whatsoever. Like I say, it pulls in billions of revenue for them every single year because the people have thrown out. What was one of them? One 3,500 quid.
You know that's on the low end, but
Oh, we
like
know
you know
that.
that's on
Yeah,
the low end. But that was on on FIFA 19. Frostbite spent over £3,500 to be competitive.
yeah.
Like, and this is, I assume, one of the best FIFA players in the world because he's obviously a pro FIFA player. So, like, to be competitive, one of the best players in the world still needs to spend a ridiculous amount of money.
But at the same time, my thing is again, how big is this? How big does that really hurt your bank account? Because I'm just like, you want
Sure,
to. That's the thing about it. If it was like this is just apples and oranges. It really is in my head right now, and like, but like, if it was like me or something like that, I wouldn't be able to do that. And if I
exactly,
did
right?
that, like,
Like,
it's like,
so, like, you, in theory, let's say you're a FIFA, someone who loves FIFA and plays it all the time. Like, you could be in that hypothetical situation, one of the like you could be at a place where you could potentially qualify for these tournaments on
yeah.
like an even field, but you just don't have the ultimate team players to do it
Yeah.
because
So
you
basically,
can't
the
spend the
ultimate
money.
team for the longest time, for all, sorry for putting in there, I apologize.
No, it's fine.
For the longest time, the ultimate team pro Evo sport thing has been completely pointless because they've
Yeah.
all paid to win.
Yeah, well, they've paid to qualify, right?
They've all literally,
And then you'd imagine the people who are in the tournament are probably on a roughly an even footing because they've all spent the money to get there. And then I don't know. I guess the tournament itself is cool, but like maybe someone who is poor and can't afford to spend thousands on FIFA Ultimate Team points
yeah,
can't even get a foot in the door, but they
hmm
might be a better player.
yeah,
Like imagine if this was Apex Legends and like
hmm
the battle pass unlocked weapon upgrades or something, like, or weapons or like ability boosts and stuff like that, and it'd be like it just wouldn't be a fun game to play, like competitively, right? Like, and I see that with FIFA. It's like, how can this be a fun game for people to play if it's tied into to what are essentially loot boxes?
yeah.
Competitively, again, FIFA can be fun to just kick around with your mates. You know what I mean, and
Agreed.
whatnot. That will always be the case, but from a competitive standpoint, it sounds bad. Like it sounds really bad for like people who
Sounds
can't
terrible.
afford to pay for it.
Yeah, sounds like crap. It really does. It really does. And they're just like, yeah, I'm not. I never like talking about it because I'm just like, this game is a terrible game, and it just baffles me why it sells millions over all the years, and blah blah blah, blah and all like that.
I mean, I
I'm just
don't
like,
know. I don't have any skin in it. I watched Fixer play it a few times. I don't get it, but I don't like football, so of course I don't get it. Um, but it rolls into the next news story, which is the UK government wants to know if you think loot boxes are gambling. This is from Jordan Ollerman over at IGN. He writes, as part of a consultation on loot boxes, the UK government is looking to hear from, quote, video games players and adults responsible for children and young people who play video games, end quote, to figure out if they may encourage or lead to problem gambling. Surveys can be filled out on a link and will inform the government's review of the Gambling Act 2005, which could lead to new regulations on loot boxes. The call for evidence will run until the 22nd of November 2020 and is also seeking consultation from video game businesses, researchers, and organisers. I don't need to read the rest of it. I saw this pop up. I got halfway through the the questionnaire thing. So I was like filling it in, and then I don't know, I got distracted. I don't know by what. I just remember getting distracted and never finishing it.
Was it by a PlayStation 5?
No, it wasn't that day. No, I wouldn't have been filling in enough survey when I was But yeah, this is a thing that's happening. The government is asking gamers for their thoughts on loot boxes, which I can only imagine what kind of responses they're getting. Because gamers are very level-headed, even-handed, very fair.
Oh, definitely. We're the most
no
fairest
explosive language
people in the world. Most fairest, non-sexist, racist people in the world. Gamers. Yeah, it's if you legitimately want to see if this can help in any way, ladies and gentlemen, check out the link and everything like that. It's a very important thing. There's no doubt about that. If you truly believe that loot boxes should be dubbed as gambling and everything like that, and the law changed, this is how you do this.
This is potentially how you do this. You could respond overwhelmingly positively that loot boxes are gambling, but the government could still ignore your consultation results because they'll like anti-loot box activists swarmed the consultation or some shit. That was a clumsily handled metaphor for the Gender Recognition Act consultation they did and then ignored the results of. Because the people with the most vested interest in changing the law responded, and apparently that was bad. I guess it's like cool that they're looking into it. Like, I think loot boxes need to be regulated. Maybe it's not necessarily banned, because kids play these games, and we see these stories pop up all the time of them like managing to spend ridiculous sums of money because they don't understand that the coins that they are using in FIFA are actually bought with actual cash, because it's quite obfuscated. Like, I used to call it, when we used to talk about it back in the day, I used to call them a fun bucks, because they're not real money, because they don't look like real money, even though they are real money. It's a whole psychology behind it, but I don't trust this government to do anything good, so we'll see what their response is to this consultation.
There's that as well, man. Like, we don't this government's all over the place when it comes to things in general, so
like, they could get
like I agree with you. I think it needs to be more.
It needs to be regulated, and they'll go, cool, we'll leave it, and you just think, what's the point?
That's the thing about it. If you say that, then they're just going to go, well, what's the point then? We don't need to do anything. It's already getting regulated, and it's like
but there's a sticker on the box. That's what regulation is, right? And you're like, no, that's not regulation is. And then you go, okay, look, UK government, sit down. I'm going to explain this to you like you're 5 years old, because that's what we just need to do. Because the concept of politicians is very strange to me. Like, I was thinking about this when our health minister, right, was like giving a speech, and I was just like, why is our health minister? Because he's not a doctor or like any kind of medical professional. So how come he's in charge of like the health of like the country? Like, I don't get, like, that's why I think like I'm talking about the concept of politicians just being like, surely someone who's qualified should be in charge of health. Like, we should be voting for like between like different doctors at the top of their fields to run the health department. But that's obviously a conversation for a podcast that isn't this one.
That's true.
I just thought about it, and I was like, why aren't these people experts in their fields? Like, they exist solely to.
But they got the experts in. They have experts there.
But then they don't listen to them. But then you think, but you're not an expert. I don't understand this. Like, how come the education secretary isn't someone like who's been like on a board of teachers or something? It's no wonder.
You make no sense.
It's no wonder politics is fucked.
And there's a lot of reason why politics is fucked. I won't lie.
Last news story, we'll just do this one really quickly as well, because it's funny. No free ironically. No free PS5 upgrades for owners of Spider-Man on PS4. This is from Sharif Said over at VG247. He writes, owners of the base PS4 version of Spider-Man will have to pay up if they want to get the remaster on PS5. Sony has clarified that there is no upgrade path for existing owners of Spider-Man on PS4 to get the upcoming PS5 remaster. The writing has been on the wall since developer Insomniac Games confirmed that saves won't transfer between the two. While the PS4 version will be playable on PS5 through backwards compatibility, as with thousands of other games, the remaster is a different story. It will not be available for purchase separately and is only included as part of the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition. The only way for PS4 owners to get the remaster on PS5 is to buy Miles Morales. Buying the game's base version will allow them to pay $20 on top to unlock the remaster on PS5, and buying the Ultimate Edition will offer the same benefits. If you're only interested in Miles Morales, your PS4 version will include the PS5 version at no additional cost. Oh, man. You know, as far as, like, game releases go, right? Like, in terms of messaging and, like, communication from the publisher, Spider-Man Miles Morales has to be one of the most confusing releases of all time. Because when it was announced, we didn't know if it was a game and a DLC, an expansion, and now we've got ourselves in a tizzy because now we don't, because they confused us with how the remaster works and whether you get the free upgrade if you already own it on PS4, and then if you can buy it separately, and then this, and then that, and then they've had to come out and clarify this, and you just think, maybe a table would have worked, like, maybe just release a table, or a graphic, or something that explained this. I am amazed that the save files won't transfer. That, like, the not being able to get the upgrade for free is I mean, it's a bit bollocks. Like, let's be real.
As hell, there's no doubt about this. It's the control thing all over again.
It's control again, where it's like, it's not possible. Wait, it is possible, but we're not doing it. Oh no. Like, yeah, like, I'm in this weird position where it's like, I own the DLC, which I wanted to play, and I was going to play on my PS5, but now I guess I'm not, because I'm not going to get the Ultimate Edition of Miles Morales, and even if I did, I'm probably not going to be able to use the DLC that I bought on PS4 to play it on the remastered version, and it wouldn't matter anyway, because my save file won't transfer? You're kidding. It's the same game, right? Like, it's remastered for graphics and ray tracing and, you know, load times. So why doesn't my save file transfer? Like, why wouldn't you build it so your save file could transfer from PS4 to PS5 if you're asking people to spend extra money to be able to play the PS5 remaster? Like, Spider-Man was great, but I am playing it again.
Yeah. Whenever I do get the PlayStation 5, which will probably be next year, my aim will be to buy the standalone game of Miles Morales. That's all, and just enjoy it that way. I'm not a person who really goes back unless it's a game that's really connected with me and that I really, really liked.
Like, I did. Like, Spider-Man did connect with me in that way, and I really loved it, but I also platinumed it. There's nothing left for me in that game.
Yeah, that is true. This is just like, well, PlayStation have really done weird. It's just been, like you said, it's confusing as hell throughout. One, a lot of bollocks again with the whole thing about why can't we do this? Yada yada yada. No, just
like, you can pay $20 to unlock the remaster on top of Miles Morales. So why can't I? Why can't, like, okay, fine, I can't upgrade my PS4 version of Spider-Man to a PS5 version of Spider-Man. Fine. Why can't I at least pay $20 to do this, to get Spider-Man on its own if that's what I want?
capitalism
at
its finest.
Sony right now can afford to do stuff like this. But if they keep doing stuff like this, there's going to come a point where a lot of people are going to go, okay, that's bullshit, I'm out. And if they, like, no one believes me, remember the PS3. Like, eventually they'll do enough stupid stuff like this to piss off enough people. You know what I mean? Like, PS2 is the best-selling console of all time. PS3, for most of its generation or life cycle, got outsold by Xbox 360. The mighty can fall. And it starts with things like this.
And yet they've sold out on PlayStation 5.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It starts with things like this. It doesn't end with things like this. This is the beginning. Like...
The conversation would be different if the PlayStation 5 was
599. If it was 599, we'd be having very different conversations about the PlayStation 5. For starters, I would have been talking about how great it was that I got my Xbox Series X pre-order sorted out. Not my PS5 pre-order. But yeah, it is like they can only afford, like, it's like Goodwill. Goodwill is almost capital in the video game industry. It's like, cool, PlayStation have the mind share right now. That's cool, but that means everyone's talking about them. And when they do stuff like this, everyone's talking about it. And that's a double-edged sword. And like I said, Goodwill is capital, and you can only spend so much of it before you run out. Xbox are building up a lot of Goodwill right now. PlayStation are currently spending it.
Yeah, I don't deny what you're saying right now. It's going to be a fascinating thing. It all depends how tight that string can really get before it snaps, basically.
I think it can get really tight. I think PlayStation 4, the generation that was PlayStation 4, built up a lot of goodwill.
So much goodwill, yeah.
But I feel like it is starting to get eroded now.
I don't think so. I don't think it's at a level what a lot of people...
Oh, God, no. Like, no, I'm not saying it's at a level where it's like like, a donkey's back is breaking right now. Mm-hmm. Like, the string is nowhere near snapping. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This could be an early warning.
It's going to be a few years. It's going to be a long time.
Yeah. This
probably
is an early
a decade, if not more, unless they seriously F up.
Yeah, they can fix this really easily in the time that they have. Like, I'm not saying this is a serious issue or anything. I'm saying this is the first pebble. You know that meme that goes around on Twitter, and it's the dominoes, and it's like the one tiny little domino, and then like each one gets bigger until it falls into the gigantic one that falls over. This is like the first. This is like this and the PS5. The way like they handled the PS5 pre-orders. That's like all that is that's just that first little domino. Like there's still plenty of dominoes to go. And they can stop themselves at any time. And hopefully they will. I don't hold any malice to PlayStation. I just pre-ordered a freaking PS5 for God's sake.
That is true.
Like, I'm sure there's somewhere out there, based on the beginning of this podcast and this part of the podcast, is now angrily assuming I'm an Xbox fangirl, and it's like, no. No. Look, I'm not. I have a PlayStation.
You actually prefer that controller, if I remember right?
I actually prefer that controller.
Yeah.
I wish EGX had happened so I could get my hands on a DualSense. It was actually going to EGX in 2013 and using that controller and playing those PlayStation 4 games that convinced me to buy a PS4 at launch and hold off on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Because I was well and truly in the Xbox ecosystem during the 360 era. Like, I didn't even own a PS3. Like, at all. The last generation, or like the current one, was the only generation where I've been able to afford to have all the systems, like, early. What would normally happen is I'd get one near the beginning, and then I'd get one, like, sort of midway through it, and then I get one right at the end. Like, the generation before, I owned an Xbox from launch, and then about halfway through, I got a GameCube for the multiplayer games, because I was living in halls. And then at the very end of that generation, I bought a really cheap PS2, went to Granger Games, and bought all the exclusives for like £5 each, £10 each, and just went fucking crazy. And that was how I experienced PlayStation. that generation. Now, this is the first time I've been able to just go, cool, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Yay! I can play all the games.
Whoop whoop
Whoop whoop whoop whoop. I'm rich. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got a tax refund. That's how I managed to do it.
Nice.
I got the PS4 from via a tax refund, which I then saved the rest of to buy an Xbox One 6 months later. And I only afforded the Switch because I sold all my Magic the Gathering cards. Because I was done with Magic the Gathering. And yeah, I had one card that was worth more than £100 by itself. I was very into Magic the Gathering. And I got a Nintendo Switch and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Respect.
Cool. There's been some announcements. There's been a few announcements.
Has Microsoft bought Sega?
Not yet. Oh god, that was the thing a while ago, wasn't it? Microsoft were going to buy Sega. Turns out they were buying someone. Although to be fair, I've just Googled that. And the last time that rumor came up was only 4 days ago. So
yeah, no, yeah, that's why I said it.
We talked about it like a couple months ago now.
Yeah,
but yeah, okay. Imagine Sega and Bethesda. But that's not what happened. Instead, we got some reveals. I'm stretching the definitions of some of these subheaders, and you'll see why in a bit. Resident Evil Village might not be next gen exclusive. They seem to be hinting that it in their presentations, of which they had like 2 or 3 over TGS last week, that it might not be a next gen exclusive game. Now, I don't know where you were at with this, Mooney, but I didn't think it was a next generation exclusive game. But it turns out it's kind of up in the air as to whether it's coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
I never thought of it. I won't lie. I never thought about it.
I just assumed it would be coming to PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah. It never came to mind for me.
But apparently that's not the case. Like, it's only confirmed platforms: PC, PS5, and Xbox Series.
Right.
So go figure. Don't Nod Entertainment are working on a new IP, but they're not currently working on anything to do with Life is Strange. Because it's the team that would be working on Life is Strange working on a new IP.
New IP with the great writing and everything like that they've been showing off.
I don't really care. Like, I loved Life is Strange. I haven't played the second one. I love the first one so much. And it's just like, it's cool. Like, if you're not going to make Life is Strange, but you're going to make something else, cool, do it. Go for it. I'll play that instead. I'll be amazed.
Definitely. Yeah.
Speaking of Microsoft buying studios, I'm amazed they haven't bought Don't Nod. I'm just throwing that out there.
I think that's building up.
I'm surprised they haven't done that.
I think they want to bring along an episodic type of story type thing and do the same thing. It all depends how much success has it been with Tell Me Why.
Yeah.
If it was an overall success with high install rates and play rates, then they probably could be thinking, hey, how about your next IP be exclusives as well? Oh, why are you doing that? How about we maybe, you like come a little bit more green and everything. Yeah, I could see it. They're an amazing studio. They've done some amazing games. Like,
absolutely. Oh shit! I wish I hadn't gone on Open Critic. No looking, no peeking. We've still got announcements to do.
That's not fair. Don't tease me like that.
We've still got announcements. Be cool, Moody. No Googling. Let's get through this part of the podcast, and then I'll update the document accordingly. Sega announced a new Virtua Fighter project. Brigandine, the Legend of Runeterra, I believe it's pronounced, is coming to PS4 later this year. R-Type Final 2 is launching spring 2021 on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. I played Virtua Fighter on Sega Saturn. When my friend had a Sega Saturn, and I played Virtua Fighter, and I was like, this is cool. Like, someone who plays fighters by literally button mashing the shit out of the controller. Because I can't play fighting games. But Like, I have fun with it. I don't know about the other two games though. So we'll do release dates. Because I don't think you've got anything to say about any of the other stuff. I can see you looking at your phone, you bastard.
I'm not looking at my phone. There's my hands.
There's my hands. Okay. Nier Replicant launches on PC, PS4, and Xbox One on April 23rd, 2021. That's the remaster / remake of the original Nier, not Nier Automata. Which I imagine will be... I'll imagine it'll be the story and writing of the original Nier, with the gameplay of Automata. Because the gameplay was the thing that people didn't like about the original Nier. Which is why they got Platinum Games to make the sequel.
You got to think in Nier Automata 3's got to can't be far away, can it?
I was surprised it wasn't announced this weekend. To be perfectly honest. Like, it's a next-gen game, though, so maybe they'll announce it next year. Because there's no way that's not a PS5 game.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be console exclusive.
Yeah. I mean, the first one was. So I've seen no reason why the second one wasn't, unless Microsoft do some deal with Square to get it, because it's in Game Pass or Nier Automata. Maybe they'll do a deal. Who knows? RuneScape is coming to Steam on October 14th. So this game's been a browser game for the last 20 years. And it's coming to Steam.
Yeah, where's the Epic one?
It'll be coming to Epic Games, but it'll be free. I Am Dead launches on October 8th on PC and Nintendo Switch. Some of the classic Metal Gear games were released in a bundle on GOG, along with a Castlevania bundle and a Contra bundle. So if you like classic Konami games from before they were the worst company in the world.
What Metal Gear ones are we talking about here? Which ones?
I believe it's the one Metal Gear on the Nintendo one. And then I think Metal Gear Solid was another one. Metal Gear GOG. I put Metal Gear Go basically. Metal Gear Solid's on there. Here we go. I'm just opening a Eurogamer article. Metal Gear Solid, and Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance.
Yeah.
Solid Snake returns in Metal Gear 2 Substance, the Ultimate Edition of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. So it's like a Ultimate Edition, basically, of Metal Gear Solid 2.
I heard that.
£7.19 for the Solid games, £4.79 for the very first Metal Gear.
Solid games I might have a look at though.
Konami Collector's Series is the other one, which is Castlevania, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, Contra, and Super Contra. And that costs £4.79 for all 5 games. It's a pretty good deal, actually, because those Castlevania games are really good.
It's not a bad deal, that. I'm not going to lie, for all of it.
That's a really good deal for all 5 of those games. You can
pretty much get all those classic games for, 25 quid, if not less?
7, 14, and then let's say 24. I'm rounding around there, but it's going to be around about 24 quid. And you can get the original Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, Contra, and Super Contra for 25 quid. That's a pretty good deal if you say you're getting a new PC, Mooney. I'm just saying. Some classic games.
Today, when this podcast releases,
there's some classic games.
I've already got Hades. I bought the Hades on Epic because of the
£10 voucher. Yeah, with Rocket League. I've still got mine. I need to have a look and see when I'm going to use that one. Hades is amazing. Turn on, because I know how you play games. Go into the options menu.
Baby ass baby mode.
Turn on God mode. It's not baby ass baby mode. In fact, I want to talk about it in the post show, so I'm going to leave that for a bit. Because I wanted to talk about God mode anyway.
I've watched the thing again. I'm pretty sure.
I did have a
I know what
paragraph
you're talking
about
about.
it in the video, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the last release date, The Solitaire Conspiracy, launches on October 6th on PC.
I mean, how can it be a solitaire conspiracy? I don't get that word.
It's Mike Bethel's new mini, like, because he does these like small games in between his big games.
Oh,
It's Mike Bethel's next game. Like, it's solitaire, but with like extra gameplay mechanics looped on top, and it's an FMV game starring Greg Miller.
oh yeah, I heard he was in the game. Yeah.
We've got 2 delays. And again, I'm stretching the definitions of these subheaders a little bit. So the first one, which is actually a delay, Baldur's Gate 3 Early Access was delayed by a week, so it's not coming out on October 6th. And the Among Us sequel has been cancelled due to the popularity surge of the original game.
How long has Among Us been out for?
2 years.
And it's just randomly shot up in popularity.
What's happened is, and again, I wasn't there at the beginning, so I didn't see this happen. What's probably happened is a Twitch streamer, like a big name Twitch streamer, probably got their hands on it, looked and thought, this is going to be a cool, fun multiplayer game. Played it with other people, and a lot of people have watched it, and gone, shit, this actually is a really cool game. And it's £3.99 on Steam. So you can't really like not buy it for that amount of money, right? Like, so a bunch of people have probably bought it, and then other streamers have gone, that looks really fun. We should do that, and then it's just cascaded from there. Like when we talked about Fall Guys over the summer, and like it's not.
You have that on PC, don't you?
Fall Guys?
Yeah.
No, I don't play it.
No. Okay. No. I'm thinking of getting after PC when I get some money because
Whoop! I went on Twitch. Like Among Us currently has 593,076 viewers on Twitch. Like Fall Guys was a big deal, but like Among Us is like a megaton. Like in terms, it's easily the most popular game on Twitch. There's not even a competition right now.
I have to ask this question. I have no idea what this game is. What is it?
So
I've never seen this thing gameplay because I've never looked.
I recommend you watch a stream of it. I'm obsessed with watching people play it because I can't get that many people together all at once. But basically,
well, some have said that I'm getting a new PC, so
again, it's
maybe.
£3.99. Like, but we need like 4 players at least. Because it's 4 to 10 players. You're on a spaceship, right? And you've got to complete a bunch of tasks, and that's how you win. So you run around the spaceship and you do all the tasks and do whatnot. But there's an imposter in the group. There can be multiple imposters depending on how you set the game up. And that person isn't doing tasks. That person is just trying to kill everybody. And the idea is you don't know who the imposter is. So like you'll be running around and like say you'll be running around and you might find a dead body that the imposter's left. So you like report the dead body and then we're like no one's talking to each other while we're playing. And then you have a meeting and then everyone's talking and it's like, cool, so where were you? What were you doing? Like you're trying to figure out who the imposter is. And then try and vote them off. You try to vote them out and space them before they kill enough people that they win.
That actually sounds really canny.
It's really fucking good. I've been watching streams of it for like the last couple of weeks. Like I'm obsessed with watching it because it's just so entertaining to watch. It's the perfect Twitch game, which is one of the reasons why it stormed Twitch. Like the closest, like Among Us has 547,000 viewers. The next game on Twitch has 208,000. It's more than double. It's more than double League of Legends, which is currently the second most watched game on Twitch right now as I'm looking at it. And it's a simple game. It's amazing. And it's just this tiny little game. And it came out on the 16th of November 2018 and nobody fucking noticed. Like that's the part. I don't know how this happened, but nobody really noticed it come out in 2 years ago. And someone I follow on Twitter. Somebody like, so they cancelled the sequel because now everybody's bought the original. They're like, oh shit, we can do stuff with the original. I saw someone put out on Twitter a really good tweet. Someone I follow who was like, it must be wild being the Among Us developers. Like, someone just walks into the office and just is like, this was the tweet, and I'm paraphrasing it. Someone just walks into the office and just says, hey, do you remember that game we made called Among Us? And then the other person's like, oh yeah, I remember it paid our rent for a few months. Why? And then the first person goes, haha, yeah, I remember that. Anyway, we're millionaires now. Like,
I think you can cover rent for a little bit longer.
Like, I think you could. I think you're good for the rest of, like, whoever developed Among Us. Like, I think they're good for the rest of their lives. Like,
Good God.
it has 135,832 reviews. Right? Overall.
Mm-hmm.
119,574 of those reviews have been in the last 30 days.
Respect.
Like, all of a sudden, it just came out of nowhere. And it is really cool. To be fair, it's a really cool game. And like, I'm honestly thinking about revising my rules for Game of the Year. Just so I can get Among Us onto the list, because it's like, I didn't know it existed in 2018.
Yeah, you can't do that. It's not fair.
I mean, is it though? Is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Among Us is, I want to get as many people together. If we can get at least 4 together to just like have a game, and then we'll try and like bring more people in.
Yeah.
Keith's in. So that's at your end when you get your PC. That's 3. We just need to find 1 more to hit the minimum threshold. Anyway, there are some free games been announced. Some of them are actually free. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition is this week's free game on Epic Games until October 1st. So I'll claim that if you want Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
I did claim that. I'm going to give it a try on my new PC.
I think we talked about this last week, so something must have happened with it last week. It's coming to Switch, isn't it? Doom Eternal's joining Game Pass on console on October 1st. PC will be later this year. And lastly, Game Pass Ultimate subscribers can get 2 months of Funimation Premium as long as you haven't subscribed to Funimation Premium before. I saw this and I was like, I can watch My Hero Academia, and I was like, no, I've already subscribed to it. Oh, bollocks.
Like I have just done. I've just subscribed to it for a whole year, so...
Like, it's so annoying. So annoying. In other news, and we've got quite a bit of other news.
We have, like...
Quite a bit of other announcements. The Last of Us. So there's a Last of Us board game coming. There's a 2-disc Last of Us 2 soundtrack vinyl collection. 2 limited edition posters. And 2 figurines. They were all announced for The Last of Us Day, which has been historically called Outbreak Day, but they for some reason decided to change that name.
I don't know why they did that. I have no idea.
The vinyl collection sounds awesome. Yeah. The board game I'd be intrigued by as well. Like, but
posters, I'd be interested in the posters as well. Yeah. I don't mind a good sexy ass poster.
The figurines are like high end, so they're like a few £100, so I won't be touching those. But like the thing about board games is, I was looking at Resident Evil 2. The board game popped up on my Amazon recommendations, and it's quite cheap compared to what it normally is. But then I was like, I really want this, but when am I going to play it? Because, like...
I've got no one to play with.
Yeah, we used to go to Keith's, like, every now and again, have board game days. Like, once, like, on a Saturday, we'd go around and just spend an entire day playing board games. And it's like... I mean, that's at least 6 months away. Like, you know what I mean? At least. Like, the last time I went, that was the week before I got quarantined. No, in fact, it was like 4 days before I got quarantined. So I got in just in the nick of time. The last game we played, that board game day, pandemic.
Nice.
And we lost.
Of course.
There's a Yakuza live-action movie adaptation coming. The Game Awards will take place in Tokyo, London, and Los Angeles this year. Because I'm guessing it's all remote anyway. So I guess they're just using 3 different studios. Ex-Blizzard boss Mike Morhaime, I believe, and Blizzard alums launch a new studio called Dreamhaven. People are calling it Blizzard 2.0, and I wish they would stop. Like, just let this studio be its own thing. It doesn't need to be Blizzard 2.0.
Deep down, they should get themselves away detached from that company
Yeah,
altogether.
they want to get detached from that company. And BlizzCon Digital is happening in February.
Yay.
Yay. Diablo 4, Overwatch 2.
Fuck, I forgot they're doing another Overwatch 2.
Don't you people have mobile phones? I had to. We got a content drop movie.
Is this some kind of April Fool's joke?
Is this some kind of out-of-season April Fool's joke? Which was a bit of a dick question, but...
It really was.
Yeah, we've got a content drop, some articles, and some videos. And we've got a pair of articles from... Well, no, we haven't actually. We've got one article from GamesIndustry.biz, which is the social media strategy behind Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, which is an interview with the person who runs the social media account for Fall Guys. It's a great social media account. It's a really interesting to read, like, how they planned it out and how it worked. Like, because, like, we see this Fall Guys social media account, and it's fantastic. Like, in the way it interacts with everything. But, like, to see sort of, like, peek behind the curtain a little bit is actually really quite interesting. We've also got a Game Industry.biz podcast. The 5 games of Debbie Bestwick, who is Team 17's CEO. And it's the podcast is... Hold on, I'm just going to read the description rather than butcher it. On the show, we discuss this and formative titles, the changing opportunities for indie developers over the years, shifting attitudes of publishers, and how the very first Worms game was developed on a calculator. Like, I imagine the CEO of Team 17, which has been around since 1991, probably has a few stories to tell.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I haven't listened to it, like, most of it, so, yet, because, like, I normally listen to podcasts while playing Avengers, and I haven't played Avengers all week. I've been playing
I haven't, and I haven't even touched it yet. It's installed, I just haven't touched it.
Speaking of Avengers, we've got another Laura Kate Dale video. Marvel's Avengers Autism and Non-Verbal Subtitles, which is a video about that. One of the things I noticed when I was playing the campaign of Marvel's Avengers, because I play with subtitles on for footage capturing, so it captures the subtitles. So if I'm showing a cutscene, it's not just this awkward, silent thing of 2 people talking or whatever, but me talking over the top of it. And the subtitles sometimes have like descriptions of what's happening in a scene. And I found that weird, because they just come as part of the subtitles. You can't turn them on separately. It's all just one thing. But, like, it's actually, as the video talks about, it's actually quite useful for certain people, including people who are autistic, as it turns out. It's a very interesting video. You should watch it.
She's a really canny lady. She
is. She absolutely is. And the last one is a video Moody sent me on Messenger. PS5 versus Xbox Series X. It's a stupid video. It's not a serious comparison in any way. It's a comedy video, and I highly recommend you check it out.
I needed a good laugh, and it gave me a good laugh. Yeah,
it gave me a good laugh. It's about 6 minutes long, and it's like personified Xbox, personified PlayStation, and arguing with each other. It's really good. Last week on Words About Games, I published 2 impressions videos. One for Hades, which is amazing, and one for Necromunda Unhive Wars, which is okay sometimes. Myself, Moody, Keith, and Russell also got together for our last update for the Fantasy Game League until it's all done and dusted, I'm guessing. Which I had fun. I had fun sitting down with you guys and just shooting the shit for half an hour about Fantasy Game League. Like, I really
how they're
needed
probably
that.
going to catch me because of Watch Dogs.
Yeah, I really needed that. Like, just it was like we blew off steam, like while we were making a video. and I needed that at that moment, and I think it shows in the video. Not of like me being like sad and then being happy, just of like me being really happy to be there, having a really good time talking.
That's the thing
go on.
about it. That's what I think everyone needs. Really, you need to just sit back and chill and just have a good fun talk
Yeah,
and about random
which
shit.
is
And it got very random.
it got very random. Half of what you just said is something we need to talk about if this podcast is finished. Lastly, I did an indie game of the week for Game Deck, which I saw at PC Gaming Show over summer, and I was like, that looks really cool. No, it wasn't. It was The Escapist. I saw it at The Escapist in the gaming show, and I was like, that's really cool. Filed it away in the back of my head to learn more later, and I went to learn more later last week, Moody, and now I'm like, damn, this game looks like it's exactly my kind of thing. Oh shit, this game looks amazing. Check out that. And that's the content drop. We need a more if we want to actually have a post show. There are some games out this week. There aren't many, but they're all big games. On October 1st, Super Mario Bros. 35 comes to Nintendo Switch. Super Mario Bros. With a 35-player twist, race against time, defeat enemies, and sabotage your opponents in an online battle to be the last Mario standing. Each player is given the same time stage, but you must defeat enemies to earn extra time and attack your opponents. Don't forget to pick up some coins on your way. They can be used to get in-game items like power-ups. Then on October 2nd, Star Wars Squadrons comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Master the art of starfighter combat in the authentic piloting experience, Star Wars Squadrons! They capitalized Star Wars, so I've got it. That means I shout it, right?
Yes.
That's how it works. If something's capitalized, I shout it.
Yes.
Okay. Feel the adrenaline of first-person multiplayer space dogfights alongside your squadron and buckle up in a thrilling Star Wars story. And then lastly, on October 2nd, Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time comes to PS4 and Xbox One. It's about time for a brand bumping new Crash Bandicoot game. Crash Forward. There's so many puns in here. Oh my god. And no one's gonna know because I'm just reading them out and they're not. I'm the only person who can see them. Oh my god. Crash forward into a time-shattered adventure with your favorite marsupials. Neocortex and Entropy are back at it again and launching an all-out assault on not just this universe, but the entire multiverse. Crash and Coco are here to save the day by returning the 4 quantum masks and bending the rules of reality. By smashing question mark boxes and spinning around. Being the Dark Souls of 3D platformers. Thanks, Games Radar. Like, not many games, but I feel like all 3 of these games are games I want to try. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
these are all games I'm interested to play.
I agree with that. I understand that.
And Super Mario Bros. 35 just... I don't know, man. Of all the things I wanted from a new Mario game, about Battle Royale probably wasn't one of them.
It's genius. That's
anyway,
it's genius.
It's genius. Yeah, it's like Tetris 99, and I know it looks like it's kind of based on Tetris 99.
Oh, definitely.
So I need to quickly do something on the fly because this has changed. I can see Moody's not logged into the to the document.
No, I'm not.
He is now, so I'm not going to change it. I can just do it without. I can just do it without changing it. It's fine. So let's play Open Critic head to head.
This is either going to be really bad for me, or it's going to be bad for me.
So this is the game myself and Moody play every single week where we try to guess the Open Critic average of one upcoming game. Whoever gets closest gets 1 point. Excuse me. And if you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, I believe I was already playing the game that we would have done. Something. So we decided to go with Serious Sam 4. I guessed it would get a 71. Moody guessed it would get a 72. And when I wrote this document, the Open Critic average for Serious Sam 4 was a 72. However, being I'm very sportswoman-like, and I opened Open Critic up to have a look and make sure it was still a 72. And it's not a 72 anymore. So the Open Critic average for Serious Sam 4 at the time of recording is 70.
What? It's jumped by 2?
Yeah. It was 71 at one point as well.
I know it was 71 at the beginning, yeah.
It was 71
no!
at the beginning, and then went up.
We're tired!
The current scores at Amy 17, Moody 17. So I'm just updating this so I get it all right. And while he dances, I will tell you that I guessed closest on Dreams, Warcraft 3, One Punch Man, Half-Life Alyx, Resident Evil 3, Gears Tactics, Legends of Runeterra, Deep Rock Galactic, Man-Eater, Xenoblade Chronicles, West of Dead, Ghost of Tsushima, Other Side, Surgeon Simulator 2, and Super Mario 3D All-Stars. I also guessed the score correctly for Carrion. Moody guessed closest on Zombie Army 4, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, XCOM Chimera Squad, Command & Conquer Remastered, Iron Man VR, Deadly Premonition 2, Fall Guys, Total War Troy, Flight Simulator, Avengers, Necromunda, and has guessed the score correctly for both Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and Serious Sam 4. There have been 2 draws so far in 2020 for The Last of Us Part 2 and SpongeBob SquarePants. And before I go into this week's game, I want to give you the floor for like 30 seconds. Because you thought I'd won. Because I'm assuming you read the document and you went, shit.
I've been keeping an eye on it throughout the week, and I saw it was at 71, and I just went, fuck. Then I saw it go up to 72, and I went, okay, that's not as bad, but still fuck.
Yeah, because you came into this podcast thinking I'd won, and it was 18-15.
Yeah. Something like that, yeah. Just a little bit.
And it's not. It's now 17-17. Congratulations. I thought I'd stop the slide with Super Mario and then Serious Sam, and I clearly haven't. Because I'm... Like, if you think about the gap between Other Side, right? Surgeon Simulator 2 and Super Mario 3D All-Stars, like, I have been running on fumes for like 2 months at this point. Like, it's been bad. I haven't gotten very many points. I just had a good lead. And that lead is gone. So shit. I really need to buckle down and actually, like, pay attention to what I'm doing. So this week, we are trying to guess the Open Critic average of Star Wars Squadrons. I decided to take the nostalgia conundrum of Crash Bandicoot out of the equation. And we're going to go with the Star Wars dogfighting game. So, Moody, what do you think the Open Critic average for Star Wars Squadrons is going to be?
This is a difficult one, I won't lie. This is a... Is it... I don't know this. Is this game full price, normally? Is this £60 quid? Or whatever? Or is this 40 quid or whatever?
It is $34.99 on Steam.
Okay, so I think it's going to take some... I think that's going to go into the factor on when it comes to a score for here as well for that. Depending on what they have here.
It is $34.99 on the PlayStation Store.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume it's $34.99 on the Xbox Store, but I'll double check.
Yeah, probably will be, yeah.
You never know. You remember that weird thread I posted to you on the Messenger where I noticed that indie games were more expensive on Xbox than they were on PlayStation?
Yeah.
That was a weird time.
It really was. I've never been excited for this game, but people have been. And it's still Star Wars, so which is if this was a guessing how much it would make type of game, I probably would win that because we know this is the IP alone sells it.
It's $34.99
on Xbox.
On Xbox, or $31.49 if you've got EA access.
No.
It's also VR. VR compatible as well. Like, you can play the entire game in virtual reality.
Okay.
It's actually on PC and PS4, so you can play it if you've got a VR headset, basically.
Ooh.
I have a VR headset.
You do, yeah.
Interesting.
Do I fudge that fudge? Do I fudge the fudge?
All I know is we're running out of time.
I know. But this is the make or break part now. We're getting into the final months of the year now.
We've got like 2.5 months of game releases.
Yeah, but they're pretty much all going to be AAA games.
There's plenty of points. Plenty of points to play for. And I'm feeling pretty confident in my score guessing abilities. Like, the only reason we're tied is because you've managed to guess more scores dead on correctly than I have. Like, in terms of number of games, I'm quite far ahead.
I think because of the price alone, it's going to get it knocked up on critic scores, I think. So I'm going to go... Oh! Okay. 82.
Okay. I was about to give you a 5-second countdown before I guessed the number for you. I'm suddenly really regretting. I'm suddenly really regretting rolling those dice on Avengers. Can I just throw that out there? I knew this day would come. I'm gonna go with a 78.
Yeah, I think it's going to be somewhere around that ballpark between the high 70s and low 80s.
Now that I've said 78, though, I think it's probably going to be like... I think it's going to be high 80s. Now that I've actually committed to the number I was thinking of, like, the entire time you were... I
was close to going 85.
Look, the way I've played this game, right, and it must be working because we're tied, I'm not losing heavily, is I just pick a number, stick with it. I just close my eyes and I just go, that one!
Oh, unless you were Avengers, you just rolled.
Unless with Avengers, where it's like literally anything could have happened, right? Like,
that's true.
Cool, so that'll do it. We've got like a minute for a post show. Because we spent so long talking about Among Us.
Well, I think what we need to talk about, we can be talked off air, so we can really just wrap it up.
Like, we could just wrap it up. I want to do like one very quick thing. Just because it's related to last week's post show, where it's like I decided on a game to play. Because we were talking about like my backlog. And which game I should dive head first into. And the first one I did was Control, because the Alan Wake thing came out. So I re-rented Control, bought the DLC, had to relearn how to play Control because it's been like a year since I played it.
Sounds about right.
I played through it. It was like 3.5 hours, so it was like pretty meaty DLC. Like there was a lot to it, which I was quite surprised by. It was pretty good. Like, it wasn't the best, but the teaser at the end, really, was like 10 out of 10. Like, game of the year. Like, I am hyped for the next couple of years. For a couple of years' time, I am hyped. Like, for what's coming next.
Answer this question. Have you played Tell Me Why yet?
No. It's installed. What I actually played was Wasteland 3. So you've probably seen it if you've been on Twitter at all. If you've seen my Twitter feed, because I've been tweeting intermittently about how much I'm enjoying Wasteland 3. Because it was a toss-up between that and Spiritfarer. And I opened Steam up at one point when I was still trying to decide. And I saw Wasteland 3, like, on the icon thing on Steam, and I just went, you know what? I am really in the mood for, like, just a deep, long RPG.
Yeah.
And I definitely made the right choice. like because I was really in the mood for it. And Wasteland 3 is really good. Like I know I already knew that because I played like the first 5 or 6 hours of it to make the video. But like I've been playing on with it, and then like it's really good, Moody. Like it's really like the writing is brilliant. Like it's really funny, and like they started making this in like 2014, right after they made Wasteland 2. But like it's a like it because it's like it was the game that the guys who made Fallout made before they made Fallout.
Yeah.
So it's very similar in tone to Fallout. So like the idea of Wasteland 3 is like the nuclear apocalypse happened in the 80s, when like Ronald Reagan was president. So it's like a heavy satire of like the 80s. So like there's a mission, the second like main mission. You go to Denver, and when you get there, there's a giant statue of Ronald Reagan, which shoots lasers out of its eyes, and because it's being controlled by a Reagan AI, and it's being worshipped by these people called the Gippers, as the god president. Oh, and like he just complains about like he's talking about commies, like the dirty commies, because it's the 80s. So like. And then you go up to this machine commune where you need to go and get a thing, and like they hate the robots because they think all the robots are commies. And then you get up to there, and then the robots are like the nicest people you've ever met. Like they're so nice. And like I was just in awe of like how well written it was. But like it must be weird being the developers of Wasteland 3 and starting this game in 2014, and then slowly like seeing it become more and more relevant as the world has gone crazier and crazier. To getting to the point where you release it in 2020, and it's just like, how is our stupid game about... Like, it's not stupid, it's really, really... It's actually really interesting. But, like, how's our game about, like, satiring, like, Americana and, like, national pride from the 80s and, like, you know, the dirty commies and fascists. And, like, there's a big thing with, like, refugees. And it's just like, how is this so relevant? It shouldn't be relevant. But it is. But it's really good. It's really good. And it's on Game Pass, so... Check it out if you like RPGs like that. I think I've played it for like 35 hours. I've definitely left some side stuff on the table, and I've probably got about another 3 or 4 hours left to play. So you probably get about 50, 60 hours out of the game if you go and do everything in it.
That's it. It's on Game Pass, and I believe, was it on PC Game Pass?
Yeah, it's on PC Game Pass for sure. Like I found a car horn. Because you drive a car around Denver, around Colorado to get around. And the car can sometimes be in combat because it's like a battle car. And I found an AI for it. But I also found a horn that plays the Knight Rider theme. So I'll get to the car. So I'll be like, go through all the characters in combat. And then I'll get to the car and it'll just go... And I'm like, this is not even Game of the Year. For that alone. And I love it.
I think that's kind of funny because there was no hype for this game whatsoever.
No, it's
very
like
little. It was very little.
It's like a game that's it's niche, right? So like it's really well reviewed, obviously, because like I think you got like Russ a bunch of points.
I think you got like 85 in that one.
Yeah, and like obviously I enjoyed the first 5 hours, but it's one of those games where it's like if we'd have done Game of the Year list. And I hadn't played anymore, it'd probably be like, it'd be in there somewhere. But like, because I've sat down and played the rest of the game, like it's much higher. because like obviously the best stuff is further into the game. And it's just like I fucking love it. But yeah, it is a niche game. Like there were people who were excited for it, including myself, because like it's in a genre that I pay attention to and really enjoy. And I like the old Fallout games. I never played the Wasteland games. The first one was way before my time. and I just missed the second one. But I'm like In Exile. Obviously, they were bought by Microsoft. I'm super excited to see what they do next with like Microsoft money.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you're enjoying it. That's fantastic. That's all you want to hear, really, isn't it? Good, you're enjoying games.
Like, I'll get to Spiritfarer as well because I really like that game. But I was really in the mood for Wasteland, so I'm glad I picked it.
Fantastic.
And that's going to do it for episode 225 of the Words About Games cast. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, I think you're awesome. Unless you're about to type a mean comment, in which case, thanks for the engagement, but you can keep it. Say bye,
Thank
Moody.
you, everybody who has watched.
And go and check out the Glorious Movie Show on podcast services everywhere, because I was on it and I was really good at it. Hey! We call that a callback.